Hello and welcome to She TV, the place women come to become powerfully feminine from the inside out. And in today's episode, I'm going to tell you why fighting for what you want doesn't work. Hey, so today we're talking about fighting and why it doesn't work. So if you're newer to my work and my channel, I have a model around the feminine, which is that there is a difference between being in your true or elevated feminine and in your false or your downtrodden feminine. If you don't know about this, I'll put some links above and below so that you can discover a bit more about this model, because I will be talking about it today. There's a concept in transformation work, which is energy flows where focus goes. So how does this translate into our topic today? If you are in an environment where you feel like you believe that you have to constantly fight and struggle to get your needs met, to get what you want, to move forward in your life, or to have your stance heard, unfortunately, you are focused on those beliefs, these underlying beliefs that you have to fight to get your needs met, to be received, to be seen and heard. So what I'm saying here is fighting just begets more fighting and struggle. Now, what I'm talking about is if you have those beliefs at play and you find yourself fighting against people all the time or fighting for whatever you want, you are actually in the false feminine orientation. And if you're in a relationship, what ends up happening, unfortunately, is you end up fighting from the false feminine to the false masculine. And this is what I call negative desire ping pong. You know, ping pong, the game ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. All you're going to do is keep beating the balls across the ping pong table, mat, and there's no forward movement. And often all you're doing is clashing at that level, and nothing gets resolved, and everybody ends up feeling crappy and nobody's needs get met. So if on the one hand you're railing against past grievances, you've brought baggage to the table, seems like the same thing happening again and again, but you are focused on that. It's this weird thing about consciousness that if you keep focusing on the thing that you don't want, like, I don't want to be in this situation, I don't like this struggle, why am I here again? Why aren't you listening to me? Why aren't I being seen? That's what you're going to get more of, because your attention is there, your focus is there, and that's where the energy is going to flow. If, on the other hand, you identify what I call positive desires, you identify what you really do want, okay, and there's a whole process to identify real deep desires inside you, but that's not really our topic today. But when you do identify your desires, I really want a great man, a high quality man. I want a different job. I want a job that, I can express myself. I want to be able to buy a house. I want to be able to have time to express myself, to do my spiritual practice, to travel, more time with my family. Now, these are positive desires, and the more energy you give to them, the more you can identify them, know that they're real and intrinsic to who you are, then the energy starts to flow toward what you want, right? And away from what you don't want. World of negative desires over here. I don't want this, I don't want that, this isn't working for me, why aren't I treated properly? False feminine universe, right? Over here to I do want, I've identified that these are important values to me, these are the things I want a high quality man, he looks like this, he feels like this, I'm treated like this, I want. This is the realm of the true feminine, the queen. She's very, very clear on what she wants and what she desires. She's very, very clear and comfortable with identifying them, asking for them, receiving them, and being in a way more empowered position in her life. The other thing about this is in the false feminine world, everything's very you-centered in a negative way, like why me type of you-centered, right? Why me? Why does this always happen to me? And your world is very small. Everything's very tiny there. Whereas when you're in the queen, you're very self-full, I say. The Queen is self-full, and she knows how to plug in, she knows how to plug into her power, her energy. She's actually very generous. Her world is very big. She can see the forest for the trees. And it is from this standpoint of being able to plug into her energy, her power, her essence, that she can actually see things in a much broader fashion, and she's able to actually command her queendom from there. A little sidebar here. If it is that you find yourself really stuck in grief, a lot of anger or resentment that you just can't get out of, it may very well mean that you need facilitated for you some one-on-one personal therapy, mentorship, something like that. Because there's a concept also in transformation work, which is you can't change the mind from the mind. So for example, in the style of therapy that I do with women, it's a metaphysical type of therapy in which we go beyond the mind to a much deeper level of consciousness, at which is the source of often where these things have come from. There's an ownership that has to happen as to why these things are happening to you, which also takes you out of a victim orientation to your life and to you and your desires, and it puts you in a victorious orientation. And that's because you have the willingness to own what's happening for you. This is really the topic of another video, but I just wanted to give you that understanding there. It's going to be very hard to move into an empowered relationship to these things if you've got these big anchors in your consciousness in the background. The last thing I wanted to add here is really understanding, if we're talking about relationships right now, that you don't have to fight for your needs from the feminine in relationships. The masculine actually wants to provide for you more than you can possibly imagine. It's an absolute delight to the masculine to provide for the feminine. The masculine adores the feminine in you, but what he needs is clarity and understanding about what you need. There are no general things here. Don't make him guess. You need to identify them, you need to request them graciously, and you need to receive them from the masculine in your life. And remember, when you have the courage to go out there and shine, you give others permission to do the same. So let's all go out there and shine this week. Bye-bye for now.